And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy, Cheap Ludes, and it's time to talk about budget cards in NBA 2K22, my team. How are you guys doing today? I hope you are doing well. That's sincere. I know my tone doesn't display that, but it is sincere. Let's count down the top 10 budget cards in NBA 2K22, my team, with, of course, 4 honorable mentions, because if you see a specific numerical digit in my thumbnail or in the title, it's probably incorrect. That's just how I am. If it says 5-minute card reviews, it's 7. If I say that I am 15 minutes away from leaving my house, it is more like 45. That's just how I roll. My friends literally say that I'm running on Lude's time. Well, they don't say Lude's, they say my first name, but you know what I'm saying. So let's get started with the honorable mentions here. Number 1, Kwai Leonard. He is an honorable mention simply due to the fact that this card is really expensive. I would say the cutoff is $25,000 for a budget card. That would be my opinion. I don't know. You could say something else is a budget card, but I think for your average player, the absolute tippity top would be $25K at absolute maximum. Kawhi Leonard is essentially just the pink diamond version we got back in December. That's how good that card was, that you can still technically use a version of it now and succeed. That card was very fake at the time. This card just has a slightly faster jump shot. Really no difference other than that. He plays elite level defense. Great badges. Obviously, he has a wonderful jump shot and Ray Allen base. There's really nothing wrong with this card. The reason it's an honorable mention is because it's just expensive. Next up in the honorable mention sphere, my boy, Larry Late Show Sanders. Just sad thinking about what his career could have been. David Stern, no, I think it was Adam Silver at the time, actually. They just couldn't let him smoke cannabis products and do rap music. They just didn't want that to happen, so they just had to suspend my boy. So rude. Larry Sanders is really, really good. He's essentially a budget Dikembe Mutombo. Set shot 17 on very quick. I'll stand firm on the fact that I believe it's not a terrible jump shot. I think it's actually really solid off the catch and shoot. Larry Sanders is going to play elite defense. He is going to rebound the ball well, and he is going to shoot the lights out when he's wide open. Now, are you going to be able to be hitting off the dribble three-pointers with Larry Sanders? No, of course not. And for 2000 MT, it's very unlikely that you'll find a card that's going to do that at the center position. But Larry Sanders can do literally everything else aside from carry the ball really, really well. And for about 2000 MT, I don't know if you can find anyone who's going to do it better at his position. The center position is real rough when it comes to the budget, and I think that Larry Sanders is fantastic for his price for sure. Next honorable mention is a card that I think is still a little bit overhyped. I personally don't really like the card, and that's Evan Mobley, but at the same time, he is 7 foot tall and plays the 2 guard, and you can get him for under 15K, which I think is decent. You know what I mean? You can get the power within one for whatever reason cheaper than the regular one. And I think it's just dimer, I believe, is the difference. So it's not really that big of a deal. But if you can get an extra Hoff badge, you get the extra Hoff badge. He plays elite lockdown defense. He is a straight 3-and-D cone. That is all you're getting from Evan Mobley. And if that's what you need, if you have a good point guard or somebody at the 4 or the 3 that you run your ball through, Evan Mobley is a perfect complement to that kind of squad. And he is one of the best defenders in the game, being that he's 7 feet tall at the shooting guard position. Next up is a card that we just had released on Friday, and he's a little bit underwhelming for sure, but Jamal Crawford is very, very good. If you're looking for an elite ball handler and somebody that can play competent enough defense that it's fine, you can pass him off, Jamal Crawford's great. Trey Burke base on quick is really, really solid. He's got all the best dribble moves in the game, and not necessarily the best, but the most meta that are on every single card. So he's really good. He's 6'5". He's got a really skinny player build. He does look a little smaller than 6'5", though. I will say that. So I don't know, if you want Jamal Crawford, this is a good time to pick him up. He's relatively cheap. You can get him for around 15K or so, which I think is a good price for him. He deserves to be up here. Number 10. This card is definitely, I don't want to say outdated, but it's just been out for a while. That's Danny Ferry. He's a little bit more on the expensive side, but you can get some badged up versions. This one has 62 gold badges for 17,000. I think that's a pretty good deal personally. And he was already really well-rounded to begin with, so it's not really that bad. That's an extra shoe and 5 gold badges, which isn't great, but for around median average, that's fine. Danny Ferry's got a good jump shot. He's obviously got a big player build. He's got the worst hairline in the game, bar none, even worse than people who are literally bald. Rick Barry is close, though. Rick Barry's hairline is absolutely atrocious, for sure. But Danny Ferry's literally got the Homer Simpson going on, so it's pretty rough. Danny Ferry's good, though. People will still use him occasionally. Number 9. Another card you may be a little shocked to see on this list, and that is Kevin Hirter. Kevin Hirter is about 2,000 MT. If you're looking to build like a squad for like 10K, it absolutely has to include Kevin Hirter. There's no question about it. I would say Shumpert would be another person that I would recommend too, but he's not going to make the list because I miss so many whites with him. I don't know what it is. Herter's really good. He's essentially a 6'7" Trae Young. And he can create, he can defend, he obviously can shoot, he can boom really hard for some reason. Kevin Hirter's nice. Like, he's good. And I feel like people kind of forgot about him really, really quick, but he's got a well-rounded stable of badges. He can do the 3-and-D role if you're looking for that from him. Like, he can do that, no question. He can also handle the ball. He can dunk. There's not a single thing that this card can't do. He's fantastic. Especially for that price, man, for 2,000 MT. Number 8 is a card that I think is definitely not overrated, but we were all really excited about it, and I think it's underwhelming for sure. Certainly. And that is James Wiseman. I don't know why I clicked for a second there. I think my brain was buffering. Either way, James Wiseman's, he's good. I mean, he's can play defense. He can shoot the 3 ball. Like, he's solid. For 9,000 MT, he's really good. I'll probably just pick him up for 9,000 for my All Warriors team. He is underwhelming compared to the James Wisemans we've received the last 2 years, but he's still very good, especially at the center position. There's really no good budget options, so Wiseman's probably one of the best that you got. Number 7 is a card that I think was overrated at the time, still kind of is Manu, but Manu's really, really good at the point guard position for his price. I hate his upper, but I would say he's a very competent point guard, and once again, just like centers, it's hard to find a real solid budget point guard. I'd say Manu and Chauncey are really the 2 best before this weekend, honestly. Number 6. This card requires a little finesse and a little badging up, but once you get that done, oh, Billy Owens. Looking real good. He is very solid, actually. 6'8". He looks massive, honestly. Like, he looks huge. A lot of girth there. He's very good. He does require badging up for sure. Like, he is missing some pretty key badges, but at the same time, like, once you get him there, even if you just throw gold badges on him, which are relatively cheap at this point, he is a top tier budget option. Like, just giving him like hot zone hunter, clutch shooter, chef and limitless would be beneficial for sure, and like blinders, and he's good to go at that point. He can do pretty much everything, and his player build and his jump shot, which, give me 1 second, I'm not sure what his jump shot is. It's a weird one. I just don't remember exactly what his jumper is. Give me 1 second here. I almost picked up Rudy Gobert. I'm shocked we haven't got a glitch Gobert. Oh, it's Gallinari base. That's why it's so good. Yeah, and his dribble moves are fantastic. Billy Owens is top tier. And he looks like he was in the 60s doo-wop group, which is cool. Early 60s. Yeah. Number 5. Why am I clicking today? Wes Unseld. He's definitely too small to play the power forward, but he's really good. He's got Kobe base. He moves incredibly well. Sick afro. He's got a stocky player build. I cannot wait until we get a point guard Wes Unseld. Point guard Wes Unselds are fantastic. You just have to go into it knowing that he's a little bit too small, but he's actually a decent rebounder, and his stable of badges is really good as well. He's missing some shooting badges for sure, but he's good enough to highlight here for sure. Next up would be my boy P-Funk, Paul Arizin. Paul Arizin's great. I can't wait. By the way, we're definitely getting Paolo Banchero pretty soon. I think I said that right. I don't know. Paul Arizin's probably one of the best offensive budget point guards that you can get. There's a guy coming up later on this list that's obviously a little bit better. Ignore the picture, which I've roasted enough that I don't need to do it again, though he does look like a Fallout ghoul. I will say that. He can do everything. The jump shot is elite. He's got the same release as Victor Oladipo, which people say he's an Oladipo clone, but he just moves so much better than Oladipo, in my opinion. I don't know if it's mental, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. He is lights out on the offensive end. He's a decent defender too. Like, he can definitely hold it down, but he's not really the best. He's good though. Like, if you're looking for like a bench budget point guard for 11,000 MT, you really can't do much better. Like, at the starting point guard position, yeah. Number 3, just came out on Friday, Boris Dio. You can get this card for 3,000 MT. It's ridiculous how cheap this card is, and he's fantastic. He can run the point center very well. 6'8", catch and shoot corner specialist, diamond clamps, interceptor, intimidator, like limitless spot up, set shooter, quick first step. I mean, this card is stupid. I think he kind of gets overshadowed by another guy in this list for sure. But I just don't think there's really any reason to not run this card at one of your wing positions on your budget squad. I really don't. There's, at least that I can think of, there's nothing. He does need like limitless takeoff and chef, but that's about it. Hustler obviously would help as well, but on next gen, definitely going to want to give him a ball stripper. Glue hands, I kind of forgot he doesn't have glue hands. It's really the dumbest badge in the game. I really hate it so much, but you know, he's good. Number 2 is Kaminga, who people have affectionately dubbed the cum bucket, which is disgusting. To be honest, that's gross. And I just feel like anyone who says that should know it's gross. They know it's gross, but they're just like, they're going to say it anyway, which I guess I just did. So I can't really judge too much, but, Kaminga is really, really solid. Like overall, he does kind of everything really well. I mean, I liked his Ruby card a lot, so it's not really surprising that this card is stupid. I personally prefer Dio in certain capacities. Like I prefer Dio's jump shot over the Giannis base. I'm just not a huge fan of it, and the reason for that is because Giannis cards are always expensive. He does have quick dribble style. His dribble moves leave a bit to be desired with like a basic crossover and the basic behind the back, which is not great. So for that reason, I do kind of prefer Boris Dio, but as a 3-and-D cone, he's absolutely elite. He does literally everything that you would need him to do. 6'8", 7'1" wingspan. He looks massive too. He's good. Altogether, he's good. And number 1, it should come as no surprise to anyone who plays this game for an extended period of time or watches content. But number 1 is Denny Avija, Avdija? I have no idea how to say his name, and I don't really care, to be honest. 1,500 MT, 6'9". He literally looks like 7'2". He looks huge. Set shot 1 is the Moses Malone release, which is why I'm so gung-ho about getting another Moses Malone, because set shot 1 on very quick is lethal. He does everything well. Plays defense. He is a perfect budget point guard, especially to deal with things like Ben Simmons, Magic Johnson. Like Denny is going to be able to handle that and then some. He has a good stable of badges already. Obviously, you would like to see some badge improvements on him, but he doesn't need too much. I mean, yeah, brick wall and rim protector if you're on next gen. On current gen, they're not as important, but they are starting to be. Now that everyone has watched the Ty Debo defensive settings video and runs the same defensive settings, now rim running and paint smashing are back in a big way now, unfortunately. So maybe those badges are a little bit more important than typically. Quick chain would be another thing I would give him. Blinders is good. Obviously, chef is going to be important as well. It's probably the number 1 badge that I would give him, would be chef. His dribbling is the only thing that's really bad. He has fundamental dribble style, which if you're not a dribble god like myself, I'm not a dribble god. Like, I'm not a dribble god, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Scottie Pippen behind the back will carry you, though, as it does any basic player like myself. Release 130 upper is the same as Bones Highland. I think it's really good. I think people were hating on this jump shot a little bit, but I think it's unwarranted. I think the card's really good. 94 speed with ball, 94 speed. Like, in general, this is the best budget card in the game. Cassie Russell is another one that could have made this list. I just kind of forgot about him, to be honest. Go pick up Cassie Russell if you need a shooting guard. But Denny is by far the most important card in this entire list. If you're going to pick up anyone on this list for your budget squad, and you have like 2,000 MT to do so, Denny. Pick up Denny for sure. I thought about splicing in the what the fuck is up Denny's thing in here, but then I decided that would be too much work, so I didn't do that. As always, it's been your boy Cheap Ludes. How you guys doing? Hope you're doing well. Double greeting. Have a good night.